r/ask Reddit. What has the COVID-19 virus made you realize? That I was working too hard because of all the suffering. I'm actually kind of ashamed to admit this has been great for my mental health. Honestly, me too. I was so burnt out and struggling through every single day. I'm laid off, which is a problem in itself. But being away from work has helped me reconnect with myself. Having the option to do something and not doing it sucks far less than not having that option at all. Very true. I wonder why that is. Because in the end this isn't your choice. You're being forced to do it. Naturally the little rebel inside you isn't happy about it. I'm the exact opposite. Less guilt and less negative effect on my self-esteem. I've been feeling pretty good lately. On the actual coronavirus part, which is probably not a good sign. How many jobs meetings really can be done remotely? I'm wondering how this revelation will affect corporate real estate, if companies will continue the WFH option when things clear up and start to downsize the amount of office space they rent. How much you touch your face and how often you touch public surfaces. I can't stop thinking about this. I went to the gas station, grabbed the gas nozzle and thought how many infected people used this pump, then I had to press the buttons on the gas pump, lol. That a company can run 5 months without a CEO, but it can't run a single day if workers do not show up all at once one day. I didn't realize how much my work defined who I am. I'm a barber and after a week and a half of not doing it, I feel very incomplete. As cheesy as it may sound, it's my art form and it gives me a lot of meaning. I'm very hopeful, though, that I'll make it through this and be able to do it again. I'm with you. I'm a dentist, and it's weird to be healthcare but deemed non-essential, but also thankful that we got shut down during this time since we're at high risk due to aerosols. I miss my patients and my work, and this whole thing has made me realize that I have no hobbies except for working. I just got an email from my dentist saying they are closed except emergencies. That just made me think how bad it would be to be a dentist right now. Let me just put my hands on 20 people's mouths today. I was not washing my hands enough. My skin has never been so dry. You've been doing it wrong. You wash your hands with sulfuric acid. Can't have dirty or dry hands if you don't have hands. How much food I actually waste on a regular basis. I always thought we did pretty good about not buying too many groceries or making too much, ordering too much, etc. How wrong I was. I set a goal for our household that we would use up all of our leftovers before making new stuff. It's forced me to be creative and experiment in the kitchen. Really shows you how long your pantry fridge can actually last you. Yes, this is mine. I've been able to get creative and make leftovers feel like different meals. I've used the gross ends of bread loaves to make breadcrumbs. I made tomato sauce from tomato paste I would have normally thrown away. I've started regrowing green onions and celery from the old roots I would have normally discarded. Everything is getting repurposed. This whole thing has been really enlightening. We wasted so much before. Our system isn't prepared for a big outbreak of some kind of sickness. Being on quarantine is difficult as duck living out of your car. How did you end up there? Making crappy choices and not really communicating when I needed help. Just how privileged I am. Don't get me wrong. I have plenty that keeps me up at night. But compared to the trouble a lot of people are in, my worries are nothing. This country is full of people having to choose between risking their family's health versus risking eviction. Folks with parents in nursing homes who they can't visit. People with chronic health conditions who are terrified of a flare-up while the hospitals are full. Hospital workers who are living in their garages because there are PPE shortages at work and they're afraid of infecting their families. I can't imagine how much stress a lot of my neighbors are under right now. My neighbor seemed on the verge of mental collapse yesterday, all from homeschooling his kids, and he lives in a standalone house in a nice neighborhood. I can't imagine caring for kids 24/7 with no one to pass them off to for a couple hours. It would be suffocating, especially in a small apartment, or living alone. Facing this by yourself would just be awful. That I took so many things for granted, like going to restaurants and just being able to go to a supermarket without worrying about what they may or may not have. Grocery stores not having certain things threw me off. 2. All of the cheap store brand ice cream is gone. There was a few of the less popular flavors of the Breers, 2x the price, and whatnot, but nothing I liked. Also breadcrumbs were gone. I guess I can just make my own. But damn it, I was gonna make meatballs. Anyways, I know they will restock, and I can always find workarounds. But it's still a very weird feeling, seeing all of those empty shelves. How much we take for granted that everything just works, that things like a global supply chain just work, that an average Joe like me can, in the dead of winter, reliably expect to see oranges in the produce aisle. How much we now rely on others as a society. Globally, we rely on manufacturing from around the world, food grown around the world. They rely on our purchasing things. How incredibly connected we can be, with modern ships and airplanes and the internet, and how we didn't realize how fragile that was, or how intricately everything connected. When this all started, I didn't care about toilet paper or food for myself. I only cared about one thing. Was I going to be able to feed my cats? They are broken and spoiled. They have special dietary needs. Would I be able to get a reliable source of DD venison and green pea, or hydrolyzed proteins, or chicken I can boil for my dude who has a sensitive tummy and no teeth? Would the pet stores have enough stock of wet food that he could tolerate? And it humbled and awed me to see an orderly line in front of the vet's office of people maintaining social distance. Isn't it funny? We said to each other what we take for granted. I never thought, one guy hollered, that I would ever be worried about finding food for my dog. I'll probably never get to hug my grandpa again, and he'll die thinking his family abandoned him. He's over 90 and in a nursing home. He can barely hear and is almost completely blind, so it's very difficult for him to comprehend what's going on and why we can't go see him. My grandma's 92nd birthday was yesterday. I'm in a different state, but the rest of my family made signs and stood in the lawn of the assisted living home with them to say hello and happy birthday. Being blind, you just need bigger signs. Truck drivers and healthcare workers really are the backbone of this country. Confirmed that celebrities are incredibly out of touch with the real world. We're all in this together from my $40 million mansion. The Gamestop call really put it into perspective for me. There was a conference call made to Gamestop and the boss told the employees that the danger is the same for the employee who would see 20 plus people and the boss who is working from home. That I'm suddenly really glad my parents are dead. No, seriously. I see everyone so worried about their elderly folk and I just don't have that worry. I'm grateful. I see what you mean. My grandparents have all passed and I would probably be freaking out about their health and safety right now if they were still alive. That I basically practice social distancing every day already. Yeah, I was like, so my lifestyle actually has a name for it, huh? Cool. I hope this incident makes people more aware of introverts and society can keep some features that allow more personal time. Most people do not understand exponential growth. The repeated headlines of biggest rise in number of confirmed cases yet that pop up every single day can attest to this. A better headline would be pandemic growth rate continues as expected. Though I guess if the former gets more clicks, then you could argue that's the better one. All those things I never have time to do, I was lying to myself. I lack the mental energy to do more than the bare minimum society requires of me. Teachers are extremely patient. I have to agree. This is my 27th year in the classroom and I attribute part of my longevity to the fact that I have a lot of patience. I can be asked the exact same question by 5 different students in a 10-minute period and I'll answer it 5 times, even if I already explained it to the class. It's natural human tendency to socialize. It's one of the reasons we, the Homo sapiens, survived. For most people, social interaction is a necessity. Animals are probably wondering what the hell happened. A huge percentage of Americans pay no attention to world news. We have the benefit of hindsight here and everyone is acting like they don't know what is coming next. Print newspapers might just die because of this. And print comic books. Distribution of comics in the US is handled primarily by one company, who is currently shut down. That most folks, even those who make $100,000 plus are much closer to poverty than they are to being a billionaire. Our success is held together by some hard work, sure, but mostly by luck. I can't remember the precise wording, but I was reading about this kind of luck a while back, and what you said brought it to mind. It was something like, it's not that they didn't work hard for where they got, it's that they were lucky to be in a time and place where their hard work mattered. So many people throughout human history were screwed no matter how hard they worked. How selfish people are. I have lupus, and because of the high demand of Plaquenil, hydroxychloroquine, by people who are misinformed, me and other people with lupus can no longer receive the dosage we were put on by our doctors. I will soon run out and be in a severe amount of pain from joint swelling and rashes, and it will now affect my online classes because I have extreme fatigue and pass out sometimes. It just makes me sad and scared to go back to being in pain. It's time to seize the day once this is over. I'm not going to hesitate to show the people that I love how I feel. Being able to talk to the people you love isn't the same as being there to hold their hand when they're alone, afraid, and in pain. And I miss having them there for me. That my bosses actually care. The CEO cried when he told us that we were switching to a skeleton crew, with the majority of people going home for 2 weeks. My manager came up to me and apologized for sending me home. You could tell they were both heartbroken. Yes, they are losing money, but the heaviness of the decision to send people home was felt. It was bittersweet. Now that I have set the boobs free many days in a row, I don't know how I'll go back to caging them within a bra ever again. The world is small, really small, and no matter the borders we are all a viral highway. Additionally, it's given perspective to the concept we are only one race, the human race. Why? Everyone is ducking vulnerable. The virus doesn't give a duck what you look like or your ethnicity. If it wants to duck you raw, it will raw dog you until it kills you. Lastly, it reminded everyone, including the wealthy, that money doesn't make anybody a better, more powerful human being. We are all dependent on one another. Without the poorest workers, the system fails. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content, bruh. It's free and that's a great price.